Hi everyone. Bear, Delaware is a good community located in Newcastle County, Delaware. Bear is a census-designated place, which means we have no formal government. It's 5.7 miles wide with a total population of 19,720 people as of 2014. This is a good map. It puts Bear into context. Bear is kind of hugged by the city of Newark, a smaller little town called Christiana, and then a bigger city, Newcastle, Delaware. Major highways that run through Bear are Route 1 and Route 40, and they connect to 95, which is more over where Newark is. That's where University of Delaware is located. If you look at these statistics, you can see that Bear is just about 53% white and 37% African American. That makes up just under 17,500 of the people that live in Bear. And again, the total population is just under 19,800. So there's only 14% left of the population to Latino population and 14.2% Asians. And we have about 488 people who classify themselves as two or more races. More on demographics, the median age range in Bear is 34.1. For the entire state of Delaware, it's 39.1. There's 5,055 kids in Bear. And the working population, age range 18 to 64, is 13,220. Those 65 years and over only makes up, there's just 1,445 people in Bear of that age. Gender, we have 47.4% of the population is male and 52.6% is female. Some quality of life statistics. Education in Bear is not all that impressive. Those with a bachelor's degree or higher and who are 25 or older is just 3,106 of the total population. Those with an associate's degree or some college is 3,703. High school diploma, including GED, is 4,163. We have 1,730 who have less than a high school diploma, and that's out of a total surveyed population of 12,702. So that only leaves that kid population of 5,055 not surveyed, if we consider that the total population is 17,900. Workforce stats, total population surveyed was 15,282. Of that number, only 7,245 people in Bear worked full-time all year last year. And out of that, 3,678 worked part-time or part of the year last year. And actually more people didn't work at all than worked part-time last year. That number was a staggering 4,359. So that's a bit of a quality of life issue. And that really leads into the poverty issue, which is of such paramount importance in social work. The residents in Bear with an income below the poverty level in 2013 was a staggering 16.3%. Of that percentage, 10.8% were white, 15.9% of that were African American or Black, 15.2% were Asian, but 20% of that were Hispanic or Latino. So that's a lot. And of those people, the rental rate was a staggering 46.8%. So residents below poverty, almost half of them are living in the apartment buildings in Bear. So there's no home ownership there. And also important to mention is that in Newcastle County as a whole, the child poverty rate is as high as 14%. In Kent County, it's 19.9, and in Sussex, it's 22.9. So when taken into consideration there, it is lower than the other two counties in Delaware, but it's still more than 10% of our population of children is living in poverty. That's a high number, in my opinion. In the city of Wilmington alone, the child poverty rate is 33.7%, which is absolutely outrageous. And in the U.S., the rate is 22.2%, and in Delaware, the overall rate is 17.5%. And I mentioned those statistics to just kind of put it into perspective, and also because Bear is such a small area, and Delaware is a small state, we kind of need to consider our community into the larger context, just to kind of give it a proper perspective, because we are very close to Newark, Newcastle, and Wilmington. We're only 11 miles from Wilmington, so we are definitely affected, and we are definitely consider ourselves to be a part of those communities as well. As of today, there's 24 registered sex offenders living in Bear, and so basically what that means is there's, for every 807 residents in Bear, there's one sex offender. Crime stats for 2014, there were no murders, there were no forcible rapes, there was only one robbery, there were only 4 aggravated assaults, 30 burglaries, 28 larceny thefts, and 2 auto thefts. But property crime is definitely an issue in Bear, and it's higher than the state average, actually. Formal institutions in terms of schools pretty strong in Bear. We have a Catholic school. We have quite a few private schools, Redline Christian Academy, Caravel Academy, and we also have 2 public school districts that serve our students here, Colonial and Christina. We also have University of Delaware, which is only 6 miles from Bear, and we have Delaware Technical Community College in Newcastle, which is also equidistant, and Wilmington University, which is the same. In terms of economic institutions, Bear is abound. We have many banks. This picture here on the right is just a layout of the Fox Run Shopping Center. In that shopping center alone, there's 5 banks. And because we have such easy access to Wilmington, we have opportunity for jobs through many credit card companies, some that are familiar to all our Capital One, Discover, Citibank, HSBC, Wells Fargo, Chase Bank, Santander, TD Bank, and Barclays of London. There's also many trust companies, and 50% of all U.S. publicly traded companies and 63% of Fortune 500 companies are incorporated in the state of Delaware. So that says a lot for our economy here. Formal religious institutions in Bear abound. We have a Catholic church, a Baptist church, non-denominational Christian churches, at least 4 of those, maybe 5, and we have the Cornerstone Ministries, which is also a Christian church. University of Delaware is a huge employer in Newark, and I'm sure there are people in Bear that work there. Also, Wilmington University is another employer. Aircraft through Dassault, Falcon, Summit Aviation, and Pat's Aircraft are all in the immediate area, and they've actually contributed $7 billion to the Delaware economy alone last year. Environmental protection companies are also big. Just recently in Newark, Bloom Energy and Motec Americas have come to the area and are contributing to the economy by bringing jobs and revenue. And also in healthcare, the DuPont company has brought $25.2 billion in revenue to Delaware, and they are in Wilmington, which is in very close proximity to Bear, and is the most important employer in the state. AstraZeneca, a pharmaceutical company, also employs 3,000 people in Delaware, many that are in this area. That's in Newark. And Delaware Biotechnology Institute and Fraunhofer Center for Molecular Biology is located on a 40-acre technology park in Newark, and they also are a significant employer in this area. Political institutions in terms of, in Bear, again, we're an unincorporated municipality, so we do have a senator for Bear, Nicole Poore. She also represents all of Newcastle County. We have our own representative from the House, who is Valerie Longhurst, and we also share Melanie George Smith with Newark. Informal institutions that are very visible in Bear are the Lums Pond State Park, the Bear Babe Ruth Baseball and Softball League, Sunset Stable, Horse Farm, and Camp. There are many community homeowner associations in the various developments. There's PTA groups in all the local schools, and there are also various church groups. A major concern in Bear is the Valero Oil Refinery in Delaware City, which is just about 7 miles from Bear. The crude oil trains run through Bear, and they are carrying the crude oil to the refinery where it is turned into auto oil, home heating oil, and other petroleum products. And it's a big safety concern for residents here. This is actually Leroy Bailey. He's outside of his home in Bear, Delaware, where crude oil trains run daily. Train traffic since 2015 has been up 70% to the Valero factory in Delaware City, and it's probably the biggest concern in Bear right now for the community. Why do I think Bear is a good community? Overall, it is a safe place to live because despite the property crime, the police do have a visible presence in the community. And despite the Valero oil tanks, the trains coming through Bear, the community, through journalism and activism, is working to try to reduce the train traffic going to the refinery, and there's even talk of trying to shut that refinery down. There's also safety plans in place for evacuation. There's goods and services abound in Bear. There's plenty of supermarkets, options, banks, stores. There's the YMCA. People definitely have access to things. There's public transportation for those that don't drive, even though it is a rural community. People do provide relationships with one another that are binding through the various community programs that are here: YMCA, churches, school groups, baseball, softball, sports. There is commonality of values and goals that generally exist here. There's not a division among the races, even though there's not a large representation of different races. The ones that we do have, white, African American, Latino, which are the primary different races that we have here, are all mixed in the community. It's not like a large city where there might be divisions by neighborhood, which is one thing that makes the community a good community. Members of the community here are generally treated as whole people. I don't see a lot of evidence of that, though. It's one area where we are lacking. I think the fact that the houses are so far apart contributes to that, and the fact that it's just a big, most of the roads are highways. There's not a main, like a center of town or anything like that that would offer kind of like a whole community approach. Day-to-day relationships among members are highly predictable. Our kids have the same bus drivers, the same teachers, our doctors. We don't really see like big community health systems here. We know our cashiers at the supermarket. We know our pharmacists. We know our neighbors. We know our trash men. Things like that. Members have a recognized place in the social structure in terms of the development, in terms of my street. I know my neighbors. I know who they are. I know the gardener. I know the guy who can fix the air conditioners. I know the characters. I know the lady that loves dogs. I know the one that trains horses. But beyond my block, I don't really know anyone. So that is one area that could use improvement. There is opportunity for growth and fulfillment, but there's always room for improvement. I feel we need to move outside of Bear for that, and we kind of look to Newark for that, around University of Delaware, where there might be a little more culture in Wilmington. Newcastle has the Arts Festival, things like that. We don't really have much opportunity growing on in Bear itself. Is there balance in terms of heterogeneity and homogeneity? I mean, yes, on my block, maybe. but there's always room for improvement there. I do like the heterogeneity in the community as a whole, though. Thanks for letting me share.